Ooby dooby 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 doo, boo 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 boo, ooby 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 dooby doo, boo 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 boo. So I went off to pinch a loaf, and I left you with Daniel and Joseph, and then the show got knocked off while I was pinching a loaf. But that was the first real elimination I've had for a good 3 or 4 days. Anyway, and it all came out well, and the color looked good, and the smell was fine, and all those things the Greeks used to take a look at. And the French still do. Do you ever have ever pinch a loaf in France? Their toilets aren't like us. There isn't a swimming pool of water. What there is like it's the throne you sit on, and there's a little stage where your turd goes and stays dry, and you get to look at it. Then you flood it, and then the water washes it off the stage and down the drain. Everyone has different predilections towards their turds, and some people are what is that neuroses when all you can think about is turds. You're anal retentive. Oh, like Martyred Artist. He always leaves me text. I just took a turd. I don't. Really. I mean, you should really only talk about your turds if it's a monumental one, right? And the one you usually the first turd you take after someone has been inside your body screwing around with all the pipes. That's an important turd. And like I said, mine came out nicely without being a brick. It just kind of woo. And the best thing that keeps me regular is prunes and prune juice and coffee. And not a lot. I mean, I do drink maybe 4 cups a day, give or take. Right? And then when I'm at my friend here, she's got this coffee machine. One of those things you put in a little thing, and then you close it, and it makes. But it still leaves a ton of coffee left in a little plastic thing. So I just keep making the next coffee from that. I open it up and close it down on it. Yeah, I don't want to use up all her little coffee charges there, and so I will get 4 cups out of one, and each cup, yes, is less and less coffee, but I keep maybe a third or a fourth of the coffee from the first one in the cup when I make the next one, etc. Anyway, so I hope you got a lot of that from Joseph P. Farrell, and the understanding that Taco Boy was put there on purpose. There are a number of, if you go see, so I was a demographer back in the day, or at least that was one of my skill sets. I have so many skill sets. I'm not really any one thing. You're not an expert. Yeah, but I know it better than most experts, because I used it, right, and not just taught it or read it out of a textbook or something. Right? So I've had many friends who are demographers, and a number of them that look at, they go where the money is, so they look at trends for stock folk, banking folk. They look at trends for people who bet. Meaning, I don't know if you've heard it, but there are mathematical constructs that you can pick a lottery number that will hit, right? And if it doesn't hit like for 100 million, you get it, for like getting everything but one, right? And so that's like 60, 70,000. So, and the guys who do the states that do the lotteries kind of getting upset at this because there's some people hitting their lottery 30, 40 times for $500 million, by just doing some simple math. Now, I've had access to earning lots and lots of money because of these things. And I never did because I didn't think it was honorable, right? It's because it's cheating all the other people, all the other chumps, right? And so I don't want to be part of that. Just like I don't vote because I don't want to be part of, because there's no difference between Democrats and Republicans. What's going on in the Gaza Strip is a perfect example of that, right? And so, I mean, we're paying for it, we're administrating it, we are, going to turn it into Las Vegas after all those people are dead. And they'll make, they'll take their, they'll make some kind of restaurant out of all the skeletons or something, something fashionable. And that's what Johnny Taco is. And so, it's Donnie J. Chump, right? And so J is for his uncle, John, who was a physicist. He goes, oh, he stayed the longest until 20 I mean, if he really wants to talk about his uncle, he should say, yeah, he worked for Tesla. He worked for, Vanderbilt Bush, and he worked for, the domestic 12 and, all the flying saucer folks, all the Steven Spielberg did a really great, not Close Encounters, but he did a TV show for I think HBO. It's raining again. It was just sunny. When it's sunny, rainy, sunny, rainy, sunny, rainy, that's when it's oops. So anyway, we are heading into some serious times, and Donnie was put there. So I was talking about demographics for my friends who look at different trends in different ways. And I have friends who basically look at, both for the Republicans and the Democrats, trends and, seeing what the voting public want. And it's not so much with asking them questions, but looking at how they voted, not so much the individual, but the data on who voted, how many people voted in a state, a county, a little, whatever they call those things, the voting stations, all of those things have those statistics. And there's a thing called a sine wave of those. There he is, the man, the myth. He brought me tasty treats. I've just been eating leftovers.
It's last night.
Wasn't I here last night? I wasn't really here last night. Didn't you notice how out of it I was?
A couple times.
Yes. So what have you been up to? Anything fun?
No, nothing fun.
When you said prayers last night, I wanted to say thank you, God, for Miss C, because without her, Jar would be, and he wouldn't have his beautiful daughter or his beautiful grandchildren, and his son-in-law would be lost. And okay, enough right there. So anyway, I looked at, a friend of mine was telling me, and he said, you got to go look at this site. And a lot of people showing that, Donald goes, it was a big steal. Well, it was. He stole it, right? And again, I don't vote because it's always a big steal. You never have a choice, We live in an oligarchy, not even a republic, Well, our founding fathers were plutocratic. And there she is, the Queen. Happy birthday, Queen. I'm going to keep saying happy birthday at least for a week. Not to remind you your age, but how much we love you. Anyway, the family's back, so I might just go. Okay? Catch you later.